If you could share it, please, bro, as you always do.
Mhm.
Just waiting for some people to get on here, and then we'll start talking baseball as we always do. You see Storms with his WKRP in Cincinnati. I guess that's what you were talking about with Ham, that you got something for him.
Yep.
I knew that's what it was as soon as I saw you with it. You kind of give me like a Eric Gagne vibe tonight, bro. What's going on, man?
With the blue light glasses.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, hey, you know me, I'm just happy to be here. But hey, I gotta say that's like my signature intro or whatever. But I'm ready. I am ready. The World Baseball Classic got me right into. Look at me. I can't even put it into words. I'm so excited for this season. I know my Reds are going to be terrible, but I'm really excited to watch that young rotation in their development. I'm excited to see some of the young prospects in the infield make their way up later this year. This it's going to be another tough year for Reds fans, but stick it out. It's going to be worth it in a couple of years, as long as they keep doing this right. And I like the way they're slow playing it with these guys. You can say service time manipulation or whatever you want, but they're doing it, the way teams used to do it in the 90s. They're not rushing them up to the big leagues and making them develop, throwing them right into the fire, trial by fire. They want to get them fully developed and bring them up. And they're following the same blueprint that won the Cubs a world championship. So definitely need some help in the outfield, but this is just supposed to be an intro, and I went into like a full.
I was gonna say this is the longest damn intro you've ever had in your career.
I know. Like I said, I'm just excited. I forgot what I was doing.
Hey, Storm said it. Shout out to the World Baseball Classic, man. They got it started early and lived up to the hype. Well, a lot of people were hyping it down, saying it doesn't matter, it's not important. Well, I think Japan says different. Look how many people were watching in Japan. What was the stat? I think the final 97% of families in Japan were watching it. Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty damn.
I think it was 62% of the TVs in Puerto Rico and Dominican were tuned into the game between them too.
Yeah, I say that's pretty damn important. And for you guys that say it's not important, well, the World Cup is kind of a thing, and it's all countries. So this is kind of like the baseball World Cup. It may not be important now because it just started. This is the third, fourth go around, but
fifth, I think.
Okay, there you go. When it starts getting a lot bigger and more coverage, I think you'll be happy that the USA has already a couple of championships. So, and also shout out to that legendary last out in the World Baseball Classic, man. Freaking Trout and Ohtani. I'm gonna be talking about that for the rest of my life. Telling my grandkids that I was in the stadium, which I wasn't. Fucking bullshit. But I'm gonna be telling them I was, because that was amazing, bro. We were in the chat talking about that maybe for a half hour after it happened, and it's the best thing we've seen in a long time.
One of those stories where the details change just a little bit, make it a little more epic every time you tell it over the years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was incredible. I mean, it's cliche, but you literally can't script it any better than that. That's it. That's exactly how you want it to end. I mean, of course, I would prefer that Trout would have gotten the better of Otani, not the other way around. But you couldn't ask for a better ending. But shout out to Japan, man, getting it done, playing baseball the old school way, small ball, stolen bases, sacrifice bunts. They had Shohei Otani lay down a bunt. He actually had a bunt single, but that's unheard of in the major leagues. Never ask your best player to bunt in any situation.
Yeah, what's up, Kyle? We see you. And as you see, we only got two of the crew here because the other two couldn't make it. But we're gonna get into a talk about division winners and also our top 10. We have their division winners and top 10s in a second. But again, the World Baseball Classic, man. If you're not into it, get into it because it's gonna be a thing. And again, shout out to the matchup, man. The end of the game matchup. Otani, Trout, and the end of WBC. That was amazing. Kudos to Japan. They deserve it. They did all the small things. They kept themselves in games. And like I said in the chat, if it was going to be a blowout, the USA would have won, meaning they had to score a lot of runs, which they didn't. So Japan came out on top, and they deserve it. Anything you got to say about that, Storms, or you want to move on to the division winners, buddy?
Now let's move on. I've already demonstrated that I'll talk forever if you let me. So,
so he said, let's not do that again. All right. So let's go to division winners. Let's touch on a couple that I think we're all probably going to agree on first. The division winners for the actual West, NL West. Let's go there first, and then we'll do the AL West. The NL West. My guy over here, Kyle, he got the Padres winning the NL West, and so does my guy Ty. He has the Padres winning it as well. Storms, you say yay or nay? The Padres win the division.
I'm 100% yay.
Okay. I fully agree with that. I don't see the Dodgers doing what they have done in the past 3 to 4 years. I think the injury to Lux is going to be a lot bigger than people think. And then also, they really didn't do anything to improve their roster. Yeah, they have a good farm system, but their farm system isn't going to come into play this year as much as people think. The Padres just got way better with Bogarts. Their bullpen has been solid. Their starting pitching has been good. Yes, there has been a hole with Snell in there, but that could be fixed. And I think it will be fixed. Padres finally take that division. That's 4 Padres, 0 Dodgers from the dish. Let's go to
just like what'll happen if they meet in the playoffs.
There you go. Now moving on to the AL West. I mean, I think we've given too much credit to the Angels, and because of Otani and Trout in past years, I'm not doing it again. I'm not falling for that damn trick. It's not happening. Stros all the way. Kyle has him. So does Ty. So do I. Storms. Is it 4-0?
Oh, absolutely, man. I mean, it's really difficult to wrap your head around being able to lose Justin Verlander and still having a top 5 rotation, but they do. It's also weird to think that that losing a pitcher of Justin Verlander's caliber doesn't actually necessarily make the team any worse.
Very true. That's crazy. And they're one of few teams that can do and say that, getting rid of a star player and this happening. Now, all of their pitchers pitched well in the WBC for you guys that haven't watched or that didn't watch. And for you guys that think that it's not important, you guys missed a lot of good pitching by Astros starters that you guys are going to see and probably boo all of this year because you guys don't like the cheat stros. But you guys are going to see some very good pitching. And like Storms just said, it's hard to keep your rotation intact or your rotation as good, and you lose a two-time Cy Young like Verlander, and they did, and they have. So they're going to win that division. Moving on. Let's go to which one you want to touch on, man? Do you want to touch on the Central? I think let's go to the Central, the AL Central, just because that one is probably the same thing for all of us as well. Who do you have, Storms?
I've got the Cardinals for the NL, mainly because I think everybody loves Milwaukee's pitching, and I do too. They have a phenomenal rotation. What I don't like is that once again they are counting on big things from Christian Yelich, which we just don't know what you're going to get out of him from year to year. And they're also counting on Jesse Winker to find his 2021 magic again, when I think – I love Jesse. He's a former Red, but I think he's closer to the player we saw last year in Seattle than we saw 2 years ago in Cincinnati. I just, and then, up in or down in St. Louis, you've got two perennial MVP candidates, the best defender probably ever at third base. They just Jordan Walker made the team. I'm excited to see what he's going to do. I just think they're better. I wanted to say top to bottom, but they definitely don't have a better rotation. But they're just better. I think they're going to finish 6 or 7 games ahead of Milwaukee.
Yeah. We all as well have the Cardinals as far as winning the division. Just because the same. I mean, you're looking at a team, and we say it all the time. You let the Cardinals hang around long enough, they're going to take the division from you, and that has been the case for the past couple of years. You let them do that, and they're just going to stick it out. Their rotation is not better, but the team is better. Like you said, on the corners, you have two surefire Hall of Famers. You have Wainwright that's injured right now, but he's coming back. Let's see what type of year he has for them. I think them losing Molina is going to hurt him a little bit. But at the same time, they're the Cardinals. They stick around.
And they went out and got pretty much the best possible option to replace him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, there's definitely going to be a drop off as far as Contreras calls a good game, but he doesn't call a Yachty game.
Yeah.
And of course, Yachty's got that legendary arm behind the plate. So, but yeah, the only thing that does scare me about St. Louis is that rotation, and specifically the lack of depth. Because they are relying heavily on Jack Flaherty, who has amazing upside, but has really struggled just to be available. And, Waino is 40. So, we'll see. I like Michaelis, but then, you got Jordan Montgomery, which if he can get a hold of his handle on his command, could surprise some people, but that's a big if.
That's a huge if. Also, they got Flaherty, and that's another if. Another big question mark. So, it's just a lot going on for the Cardinals, but ultimately, like you said, I think they have the better team. To where they're gonna stick around and hang around and then get hot at the end of the season, like they tend to always do. Rip off that 12-13 game winning streak and win the division. The other thing is, like you were saying, Jordan Walker. Watch out for him. 6'5", native of Georgia. He is a 5'2" athlete, ranked 4th in all of baseball as number 4 prospect. He made the team. He is going to start for them. he will probably wind up being your NL Rookie of the Year. That's the person to watch out for in the NL as far as a rookie goes. And the bat added to that lineup makes that lineup even deeper.
If you could compare him to somebody that came up in, say, the last 20 years, like at corner outfielder as a prospect before opening day, who would it be?
That's a fully loaded question to think of one name.
Right. But like Jason Hayward, right? Like at this
I
point.
was just about to say his name, Jason Hayward.
Yeah, which I mean, you know, he's turned out to be an all right major league player, but before opening day, man, that guy, Bryce Harper, is everything Jason Hayward was supposed to be.
Yes. Two, his career with the Cardinals was amazing. And the reason why he got the contract with the Cubs. And he stuck around with the Cubs for years until they finally cut him or released him. And you're right. That's probably who.
He made the Dodgers team, by the way.
Oh, congratulations, Hayward. But yeah, that's a good comparison. That's a really good comparison. Actually, similar body type, except probably Hayward has a little bit more muscle. But as far as body type, yeah, that's a good comparison. All the hype and everything. Yeah, good call. So let's move on because we all got the Cardinals, the AL Central. This is another clean sweep. We all saying the Guardians are going to take this division as well. I don't see why not, unless injuries happen. Injuries are part of the game, but I don't see.
So, here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
They already just lost McKenzie for 2 months, maybe 3.
Yeah, but I don't think that'll affect them as much as somebody in that lineup. You know what I mean? I think they could get through without him for a month and a half.
But so my concern with Cleveland is the same concern I have with St. Louis. Is the rotation is so top heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like trying to remember the numbers. I think they were 62-30, I think, in games started by Bieber, McKenzie, and Quantrill last year. And then they were 37-30 in games started by anybody else, which are 30-37, which, I mean, close to 500 out of your 4 and 5 guys ain't that bad.
Yeah.
You know, but it's a big difference.
Yes,
it's a big difference. And, you know, I wouldn't be talking about it like it was a big deal if he was going to miss 3 weeks, but it's 8 to 10, and that's if there's no setbacks.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the biggest difference between last year and this year. Last year, they were hoping on a lot of 4, 5, 6 hit innings to produce some runs. They didn't have a lot of power. This year, they added Josh Bell and Mike Zunino, which is going to add a lot of pop to that lineup. And I think they're going to be able to outscore some teams in that Central and also in the AL to win the division and win enough. And also, because of the change to where everybody plays everybody, they're not going to have to see the Central as much. So I think that's an advantage to them. One, I think what'll be catastrophic is Bieber going down the same time as McKenzie goes down, or a month into the season. That I don't think they can recover from.
Well, and I agree with everything you said. I was just playing devil's advocate, but and the reason I agree is because they also have a phenomenal bullpen, especially the back end, and I think that bullpen is good enough to overcome that. Along with, like you said, some added thump in the lineup, but so I still have the Guardians winning the division, but I think it's a lot closer now because of that 2-month absence. I think before they lost McKenzie, I probably had them winning the division by 4 or 5 games. Now I think Now I think they beat the Twins by maybe a game, and it maybe comes all the way down to 162, which would be a lot of fun.
Hell yeah. We love those. So let's move on to the AL West. I'm sorry, not the AL West, excuse me, the AL East. The AL East is a very, very interesting division. Which last year we saw the Blue Jays not live up to the hype that in which they were talking. They said it was just a preview. Now we're getting on to the real deal. That never happened. There was a lot of talk, and well, they didn't live up to the hype. This year, they're going into the year relatively quiet, looking to see if Guerrero can live up to another fantastic year he had last year, and see what he can do this year. Now, as far as our guys go, Kyle and Ty, Ty picked the Guardians to win the division. And so did Kyle. He picked it to win the division, the Blue Jays to win the division. Storms, I'll let you go first. Keep in mind, last year, the Yankees with Judge's career and also memorable and fantastic year he had, ran away with the division. Well, didn't run away with the division. They slumped when he was out, but they took the division. Storms, what do you got to say, man?
So, you know what? I'm gonna paraphrase / quote Big Shot. Death, taxes, injured Yankees rotation. I did have the Yankees taking the division, but the last few weeks has shown me or reminded me never to bet on that rotation to be healthy enough to do anything significant. So, I mean, Montas is already, he's out till at least the break. You're missing Severino and Luis Gil and Rodon all for the first month. So your rotation now is Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez and whoever's available that day. That's a lot to overcome, even though I know it's just the first month. But the thing with injuries is it's never certain. And the thing with Yankees starting pitcher injuries is there's always setbacks. So I can't in good faith count on them to hold off a Blue Jays team that's even better than last year.
Especially their rotation.
Yeah, man. And now that their outfield is Springer, Kiermaier, Varsho, it's one of the best defensive outfields in baseball,
100%.
which was an area of concern for them last year.
100%. I was gonna say that when I started talking.
You still love Bichette's bat. He leaves something to be desired still at short, but that's really about at least on paper, the only hole I see in this team right now.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna go the route that you went. I had the Yankees, and I was gonna pick the Yankees to win the division, but these injuries can be devastating to them. Reason being, their pitching. They finally got pitching to where they can flat out beat you with pitching and don't have to put up a lot of runs. They have a lineup in which they can put a tremendous amount of runs up, especially if Judge does what he did last year. I'm not saying he's going to, but they have a monster in that lineup, and his name is Judge. Secondly, we saw last year that their bullpen, for as good as it was, it could be just as bad. And I don't think they want to put their hands, or they want to put all their faith in that bullpen and have them throw so many innings, which they're probably going to have to do in the beginning of the year being that they're down already 3 starters. Right now, their projected rotation is Cole, Schmidt, Brito, Cortez, and Herman. Rodon is not going to come back until late April. Severino could come back in late April. But I think for me, the key is Cortez. Remember, they delayed his start because of a hamstring injury. Hamstring injuries for pitchers are no good. That can be a lasting thing. That can be something to where he comes off the mound and has to cover first and he can strain it again. Or it can be something that's not fully healed and just he's never right all year. We're going to have to see, especially with his herky-jerk motion, he can easily re-injure it. I'm going to agree with my guys. The Yankees are hurting right now. And if the Blue Jays get some momentum and get it going early, who's to say that the Yankees come back and take it? I got the Blue Jays now winning the division because injuries have already happened with the Yankees. And like you said, who knows? Injuries, unfortunately, the 2 New York teams, which are the Yankees and the Mets, injuries happen and they happen every year. It just happens. It just happens. And this is a case of where the season hasn't even started, and we're going to get to the Mets next. The Mets have already lost their closer Diaz for the year, and the Mets and the Yankees, who knows? These could be lingering injuries.
Yeah,
I go with the Blue Jays.
And isn't Bader hurt again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I heard that too.
And like, you know, they're also going to miss Benintendi's bat because Hicks is a great defensive outfielder, right? So, you know, no drop off in that department there. But I mean, he's basically Joey Gallo with less power, right? So, I mean, in Benintendi, he was a solid, dependable leadoff option. Volpe's, you know, he's had a hot bat in spring training, but he's also got a 50% strikeout rate. So those numbers have to come down because if you're striking out at that rate, you're not hitting 300 in the majors.
Yep. So moving on, that's another 4-0. We all picked the Blue Jays to take that division. I think the most interesting division, and it's sad that I'm a part of this division, especially when the Mets just got good. The NL East. The NL East is going to have 3 teams with 100 wins. Who is going to come out on top? We will tell you now.
Not anymore, they're not.
Huh?
Not anymore, they're not.
Yeah, they are. The Ty has picked the Braves. Kyle picked the Braves. Storms, go ahead and pick the Braves.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. It's with the craziness of the Carlos Correa saga and the inherent absurdity of any Steve Cohen offseason. I feel like the Braves have been a little bit of a lost subject. Nobody's talking about how good the Braves still are. You know, they have one of the best and deepest rotations in baseball, and they still don't have Kyle Wright or Michael Soroka right now.
Mm-hmm.
When they come back, they might have the best rotation in baseball. Yeah, man. I just got to go with history. 5 division championships in a row, and new ownership or not, I watched the Mets choke the division away for how many years in a row now. I do believe that the Mets are not that far behind the Braves, but they are.
I agree. I mean, last year was a good step forward for them. They finally got a taste of what it can be to win a division, but like you said, they didn't close it. They choked. Them losing Diaz is huge, tremendous. Is the best closer in the game. So I think right there is going to be probably about I don't know, a 5 to 10 game swing. Like you
I
said, it
don't,
may
I don't
not.
think it'll be that bad.
I
I
think. I
have
think.
faith. I have faith in Robertson, and if he doesn't work out, Steve Cohen is going to go out and get somebody because he's Steve Cohen, and you guys will be all right. I think not having Jackson at the end is going to maybe cost you a max of 5 games.
Jackson Diaz,
Or yeah, sorry, wrong Edwin.
whatever his name
Wrong
is.
Edwin.
Hey man, but going back to the World Baseball Classic, I was happy when he closed that game out. But as happy as I was so sad when I saw him on the ground and then his brother crying because he knew right away. That was terrible, man. As high as they were for their country, Puerto Rico, that sucked. Seeing him hurt like that, it's gonna hurt the Mets. I think it's gonna hurt them a lot more than people think because we did get better in the bullpen. We did sign some Mars, like you said, Robertson. And like you said, if he doesn't work out, Cohen's gonna go out to sign somebody. But I think just having that presence, and that person coming out with that song and all that, I think it's huge for the team. Now, do I think they're gonna overcome it? I want to say yes, but like you said, man, history. It's not letting me do it. The Braves are still the Braves. The Braves have had multiple division titles. And Trav, you thought I was going to say it, but fuck you, I'm not. The Mets are winning the division. I think they're barely going to squeeze by, man. I mean, I think this is finally the year, to be honest with you, just because I don't think Buck lets it happen again. I don't think Buck is going to let that division slip away the way it did last year. I think the Mets squeak it out, and I think it comes to 162. And I hope the final game of the year is in Atlanta.
You and Trev have a bet on the division winner yet?
We don't, but I'm going to. As soon as his life starts, I'm hitting him up. So
good.
I'm going with them. I just jinxed myself again. Fuck. Let's go. Now, since we did division winners, we're gonna do our power ranking, our top 10 storms. I'll let you kick off with your 10th place team, and then I'll go over to Ty's list. Actually, give us an honorable mention who you want to throw in there. Give us that first.
Yeah. So my honorable mention is the Guardians. They would have made the top 10 if not for the McKenzie injury. But power rankings are about right now. So
yeah, okay, I agree with you, and so does Ty. Ty's 11th place team honorable mention is the Guardians. We don't have an honorable mention from Kyle, but I'm gonna throw a team out there since he loves them so much. The Oakland A's.
Oh, and last note on the Guardians, with McKenzie out for the first 2 months or better, Aaron Savali is gonna have to step his inconsistent ass up.
Hell yeah.
Because that dude has shown some flashes of absolute brilliance. And I want to. It would just be par for the course in Cleveland if he develops into yet another ace coming out of that farm system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they do it, what they put in the food, but that organization just pumps out top tier pitching talent.
We see you, Vic. Yeah, man, I agree with that. I, in my opinion, and my honorable mention is the Cardinals. I swap them. My honorable mention is the Cardinals just because even though the Cardinals, I think, is going to win that division, I don't think they touch any of these top 10 teams, even though they're going to be division winners, just because I don't think they're going to be as good as these division winners. So that's the Cardinals being my honorable mention. Go ahead, Storms, kick it off. Who's 10 on your power ranking list?
Number 10 for me was the Cardinals. Just for the same reasons I said before, I'm a little uncomfortable with the rotation and the lack of depth. It's a little alarming. It's really the only thing I don't like about the team. I'm in addition to Jordan Walker, I'm interested to see how Nolan Gorman's going to handle the grind of the 162. But there's a lot to like about the Cardinals, and like you said, man, it's you just can't ever count them out for anything.
Yeah, you can't. As far as the guys go, Ty, same reasons. I'm assuming he has the Cardinals at 10. Kyle as well. He has him at 10. Like I said, I had the Cards at 11. At 10, I'm gonna put the Guardians. I'm gonna put the Guardians for the reason I talked about earlier. I think they have the power in the lineup to get over McKenzie being out for a couple of months. Bieber's still Bieber. I think he's gonna put up the numbers he has to keep that team afloat. They're gonna outscore some people this year instead of depending on the small ball. They're gonna have some pop in that lineup, score some more runs. Look out for Jimenez to have a breakout year. I think that kid is gonna take a step forward, and he's. Is that what you were gonna say?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jimenez, man, he came from the Mets and got traded for Lindor. And every year he's just been consistent defensively, better defensively than they said that he was going to be when he was in the Mets farm system, but even a better bat that they expected now than he was in the farm system. He is an amazing second baseman, top 5 second baseman in baseball. He deserves it, and he's going to have a great year this year.
It'll be a while before. We'll see which organization wins the championship first. But right now, I think Cleveland is winning that trade.
As of right now,
mm-hmm.
Let's wait until Lindor has 4 rings on his fingers. All right, next subject. Number 9, we got Kyle and Ty saying the Mariners in the AL West are 9, and a big reason for that is obviously J-Rod. Obviously, in the run that the Mariners have put on last year, making it to the playoffs and putting on the show for the team in Seattle. What do you got to say, Storms, about that?
Yeah, man. The Mariners, the Mariners won 90 games for the second year in a row, finally broke their playoff drought, and then they went out and got better. They added Teoscar Hernandez. They got rid of Jesse Winker.
The big hole in that lineup.
Yeah, yeah, and they brought in Colton Wong, who's so now they've got their leadoff man.
Yep.
J-Rod, that kid is a bona fide superstar. I think he's got a solid argument. I wouldn't put him there yet, but he's got a solid argument to be almost a top 5 player. And I think Logan Gilbert is going to be a Cy Young finalist this year.
Yeah. Yep. For the same reason that you just said about the Mariners winning, or not winning, being your 9th team, I have to agree. The Mariners is that team that can surprise some people. That rotation and that bullpen, most importantly, for years now, has been a top 3 bullpen every single year. And we've said it probably starting now 3-4 years ago. Look out for them and what their bullpen does. They get into the 5th, 6th inning, that game's over. They got arms for days to close out a game, starting from the 5th inning, 5th, 6th inning, and it's all over. But now they have that rotation to go with it. And of course, J-Rod in that lineup to do anything and everything that they need. Again,
I'll put Gilbert, Castillo, and Ray up against any 3.
Hell yeah! You get into a short series, it's over. Yeah, you know what I mean. The bullpen, this is gonna be a good AL West race, even though we picked the Stros to win it. Don't be surprised. Don't sleep on the Mariners. I definitely have them ninth as well. Let's move on. Number 8, our guys, Ty. He has the Phillies, and oh wow, so does Kyle. Kyle has the Phillies at number 8.
Oh wow, so does Cat 5.
Oh my God, so do I. This is, I think, well, biggest thing is next year hype. I think this has a lot to do with what they did last year, and also has a lot to do with signing one of the best players in baseball, Trey Turner, if not the best shortstop in baseball. He showed what he can do in the World Baseball Classics. He got on fire and just hit home run after home run. What he hit, like 5 home runs and or 4 home runs and like 7 at bats or something like that, 8 at bats. I don't even remember.
He hit 5. Yeah, he hit. It was 4 home runs and 7 at bats and 5 for the tournament.
There you go. So, and as we speak, here comes that guy Kyle. Wait until he gets on camera, but I think the Phillies definitely deserve to be in this, and but my only gripe with them is the gripe I've had with them for a while. It's not their rotation, it's their bullpen. Their bullpen has been doo-doo for years. They haven't really done much to address that, but we'll see if the rotation can hold it down for them and also score them runs, because they still have Harper. Don't forget that guy.
They've got some good. They've got a couple good pieces in that bullpen.
Okay, you keep thinking that.
Oh, tell me you're not taking Sir Anthony Dominguez on your team.
Okay, that's one. Thank you. What's up, Kyle?
What's up, guys? How you guys doing?
Good, bro. How are you?
I am exhausted.
You looking, man.
Yeah, it's been a long week already.
Well, we're on top
Jesus,
there,
Jorge. Welcome to the show. You look like shit.
Yeah, hey, you see these tan lines, man? Been out here getting it.
So, Kyle, give your we just talked on the Phillies being 8th on your list, man. Give us a couple of reasons why, bro.
Rhys Hoskins going down hurts. That I think is the biggest thing. I couldn't remember. Is Harper going to be there for the first month?
So that's one of the reasons I had him down at 8, because it's like he could be back as early as late May or as late as early July.
Okay. So Rhys Hoskins going down hurts. Harper, you know how I feel about Harper. We've talked about it a million times. However I feel about him or not is not a reflection of how he is as a player, but except getting choked out that one time. But he produces, man, but him not being in that lineup hurts a lot. With the addition of Trey Turner, that helps out a ton, especially because we just saw what he did last year, but also what he just did in the World Baseball Classic, which was phenomenal for Team USA. But I think just like last year, the question mark is just always going to be Philly's bullpen. It's, are they going to have enough to fight these other teams? Because we've seen it time and time again. Houston wins because of their bullpen. Well, is there another team that has a bullpen that will compete? And I think it's Seattle, but Seattle is going to play Houston before they even get to the World Series. So Phillies, with those two guys being hurt, I think is why I had them down low in the 8th spot. That's just me.
All right. Those are good reasons, though, man. Let's move on to the 7th team. And the 7th team on Ty's list is the Mets. Thanks, Ty, for putting us so low. I'll remember that.
Receipts.
Kyle, who you got number 7, bro?
So I had Yankees just above the Phillies. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, it's nothing to be concerned about, but 3 out of the 5 Yankee starters are already down. And they were all supposed to be huge cornerstones going into the year. They haven't really said much about it, and I know this is more Vic's lane, but like Cortez, they weren't going to let him play because he had a lingering hamstring injury in the World Baseball before the World Baseball Classic, because he was going to pitch for Team USA, which he would have helped out tremendously for them. But having a hamstring injury as a pitcher, you can't chance that because you use your legs. So them having injured pitchers in the beginning with their bullpen kind of up in the air because they got a lot of new arms makes them a question mark. Now, is Aaron Judge going to be Aaron Judge of 60 plus home runs again? Is he going to stay healthy all year? There's just so many question marks going into the Yankees season. I think they'll probably win the AL East or at least get a spot. But I don't think them being that high on the list is worthy of where they are currently. That's just me. What do you guys think?
What do you guys think?
100% agree. They definitely have an opportunity to move up the list once those guys come back.
Right.
Because I think with their rotation at full strength, they're definitely a top 5 team, like no question. But, but that's not only when all those guys come back, but that's if they all come back at full strength. And like I said before, if by some miracle there's no setbacks with any of them, which never happens for that organization,
right?
So yeah, we'll see. Another big part of it is like Jorge said earlier, outside of the pitching staff, they're largely the same team they were last year, which did get off to a historic start, but was 500 or maybe a little bit worse down the stretch.
Yeah, towards the end they didn't hold up.
Yeah, I agree for everything you guys said, and let me just throw this out there. Like I said earlier, they're bullpen for as good as they can be. They have shown that they can be equally as bad. But I do put them over the Phillies because their bullpen can be a lot better than the Phillies. We have seen the Phillies bullpen just fluster and be terrible at times in years.
Yeah.
And until they've actually put it together last year for that World Series run and in the World Series. But even in the World Series, you saw there's a couple of pieces to where they're not so sure about. But I do put them ahead of the Phillies, and I do put them in that spot as well. Same reasons for you guys did as well. The starting rotation, man. That's what it starts with, and that's what it ends with in baseball. And right now, they're missing 3 key pieces, and that's going to hurt them. And we can only go with right now for the top 10, and that's what we're going off of.
Especially because they just spent a bunch of money on one of those arms.
Yeah. Yep. Fully agree. So now that we got our what was that, number 8, right?
I believe so, yeah.
So 10, 8.
That was 7.
That was 7. My bad.
7. Yep. Phillies is 8. Yeah.
Okay, so at number 6, Ty has the Yankees right above the Mets for his list. What you got, Kyle? Are you sure?
So I had the Mets just above the Yankees. I think what hurts the Mets the most is Diaz going down. And I think you're gonna have a slow start with a couple of your guys this year. We kind of already saw a little bit of it in the World Baseball Classic with some slow starts, but that doesn't mean it's gonna be a slow start where it's gonna take them 30 games to get in it. I think it's just gonna be like maybe the first 10. I wouldn't say first 10. I think that's like a stretch. Maybe like the first 6 or 8 games. They need a couple more at bats, and then once they start doing that, they'll be doing all right.
But the World Baseball Classic doesn't matter. What are you talking about?
They say that, man, but it's getting young kids contracts that would never get them before.
That's true, man. I'm just
well, and you know what? Like, it may partly have to do with not having it last time around because of COVID. You know, it's been 5 or 6 years since the last one. But I mean, go back and look at the difference between this World Baseball Classic and the one from 2017 and the one from 2006. And I mean, the growth rate is insane.
Yeah.
Insane.
Well, I mean, Japan, man, they had 49 million people watching at 8:00 in the morning for Team USA and Team Japan.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's insane, dude. We don't put out that type of shit because we play really a bunch of sports. We play football, baseball, hockey, we play all these sports. All these other countries, they play other sports, but Japan, baseball.
And that's why they have to play it here, because other countries will watch their team play no matter what time of day it is. If it's if Team USA plays at 5:00 in the morning because they're in Japan, there's gonna be 2 million American viewers, if that.
But if you think about it and you look at it, in any sport that's national, meaning for each country, and on a world basis, I think the worst following or the least amount of following is American. It's us.
Yeah,
look at the World
100%.
Cup. Look at the World Baseball Classic. These people are saying that it doesn't matter. How the fuck are you gonna tell somebody that's playing for their country that it doesn't fucking matter?
You want to hear something crazy I heard the other day? So Team Britain, Great Britain surprised everybody just by qualifying, and then they went out and beat Colombia, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean beat them convincingly in that game, which nobody expected them to win a game, and they came out and not only won that game, but they competed really well in the others too, and they secured themselves a guaranteed spot in the next one by not finishing last, so they don't have to go through qualifiers next time around. Anyway, their Team Great Britain doesn't even have a field.
Right.
They don't have a facility of their own.
Yep.
And they went out.
All their players are like teachers, scientists.
That's how the Czech Republic was too.
And Trace Thompson.
Yeah.
Trace Thompson. But that's what was fun about the Czech Republic team. I know we're kind of getting off topic here, but that was fun about the Czech Republic team because in their interviews, they're like, "Hey, what do you do outside of baseball?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm a trash man." You know what I mean? I'm a farmer, dude. And these dudes are out here giving it their all, but they're also earning the respect of the players in the World Baseball Classic because, they're not set up to play baseball. They're not a country that produces baseball players, but here they are competing on the world stage against the team that ended up winning it, and they're earning the respects of Shohei Ohtani.
And in a lot of cases, really playing very respectably well.
Yes.
Yeah.
They'll get better.
Every WBC is going to have its share of blowouts and mercy rule games, but even teams like Israel, didn't they make it through to the knockout round? Or no? No, they didn't.
No.
But
Israel
they
played
were in that pool where everybody finished 2-2, weren't they?
Yes. Yep.
Let's get back on track to Opera.
We can talk about this all day.
Yeah. Okay. So at number 6, I had I got the Dodgers at 6. They still have a very good rotation. Even after they lost Anderson, who they relied heavily on last year, but they still got Urias. They've still got Walker Buehler, who is, I think, gonna miss about a month. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
He missed a ton of time last year too.
He did.
Dustin May, who also missed a ton of time.
Yeah, May's available. They got, but my point is like they still have a good rotation, but just like with the Cardinals, what concerns me about it is the depth because they don't have a lot of guys. If they lose any more than what their rotation, I feel like is only going to be able to sustain maybe one injury at a time.
Yeah.
And every year it's a question mark. Is Kershaw going to make it through the season without missing time? And every year, and it's not always anything super significant, but every year he misses a few weeks, 2 or 3 times, right?
Yeah.
So that part's going to be a little bit of a struggle for them in that NL West race and everything. But they're still a very good team, even though they also lost, Turner and Turner, and so they've still got Muncy went down, but Lux went down, but they've still got Muncy, they've still got Freddie, they've still got Mookie. Still a very, very good team. They're not the team that won 111 games last year, but they're still one of the best teams in baseball.
Yep. They still have Gonsolin too. Don't forget about him. But here's my my question to them, and I have 2. Your closer, what's going on there? There's no name there. Is it going to be closer by committee? What's going to happen there? I don't know. That's in the world of baseball, closer and having a good closer is big. We've seen that in late games. The other thing is this year compared to I can't even remember what year is the bottom of the lineup for the Dodgers going to produce. They're not that deep anymore in the bottom of the lineup. Yep. Because Lux went down, you're going to have Rojas batting. You're going to have Rojas in the lineup a lot more. You're going to have J.D. Martinez, which has been declining the past couple of years. And Kyle, you can attest to that. He's had a lot of injuries and he's missed some time. Trey Turner isn't there. That's a big hole in your lineup. So what's going to happen, man? I have them in the same spot because they are the Dodgers. But you can only go on so much for the year. To be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if they fall out of the top 10 this year. And that's just me.
And you know what? If you ask my opinion, I think the front office is okay with anything that happens this year, including the unlikely scenario they don't make the playoffs, because they are gearing up for a run at the best player in the world.
Yeah.
I'm not available, so yeah. So you want to add anything to that, Kyle, or you want to go to number 5?
Just go to number 5 because I have the Dodgers at 5.
Okay.
Well, who'd you have at 6?
I had the Mets, but we already talked about that.
Oh, yeah.
So
Okay.
Ty, excuse me, has 1, 2, 3, 4. Ty has the Blue Jays at 5, and probably for the same reasons that we talked about earlier. Their lineup, their outfield, their bullpen, their starting rotation, they can make some noise in that East, and it looks like he right now has them above the Yankees, where he had the Yankees at number 6. Who do you have at 5, Storms?
The Mets.
The Mets at number 5?
Mm-hmm.
For what reasons? Same reasons you touched on earlier?
Yeah, same things we said earlier. I try not to penalize teams too hard for non-season ending injuries. But I'll take away more for an injury than I will for a suspension. Shout out Fernando Tatis. Damn. But just because there's with a suspension, you know exactly when that player's coming back. Injuries, there's so much uncertainty. But like I said before, I think David Robertson is going to step up and be a very serviceable option there. You probably, if you roll with him for the entire season, you're probably going to get 5 or 6 less saves out of him than you would Diaz. But, that's still 5 or 6 less than what he had last year, 60.
Yeah.
So,
Still pretty good.
that's nothing to sneeze at. And like I said before, if he doesn't, Cohen will go out and get somebody else. My Reds are rebuilding. They're always looking to make a deal, and Alexis Diaz is looking real good this spring.
Yep.
Just saying.
Yes, he is.
Just saying. I'd like to keep him, but you know what? Anything to make the club better.
My list, I got the Blue Jays at 5. Same reasons for what I mentioned earlier. They're right now looking prime to take the division with it, especially with the Yankees. And I can only go off of right now. That's why we do these lists. But they're healthy. Yankees can't say that. And that in baseball, as we know, makes a huge difference. Biggest stability is availability. And right now, the Blue Jays are looking pretty nice. So let's move to 4. Kyle, who you got?
Can I do my 5 real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
So my 5 was the
No.
Dodgers. So my 5 was the Dodgers, and Jimmy Pujols and I were talking about it in the group today. He's got a couple of different concerns. Shout out to Jimmy, but he's got a couple of different concerns. But I told him, I was like, I wouldn't really start worrying about anything unless they start dipping below 90 wins. Really, even if they're over 85 wins, it's still better than a lot of teams. So I'm not super concerned with the Dodgers. I think they're going to be able to slug their way through most of the season. And I don't think they'll be blowing out games, but I think a lot of games will be a lot closer this year than people think.
And 100%. And to that point about 90 wins, ain't no goddamn way they're 21 games worse than they were last year. They're worse than they were last year, but not 21 games.
No. And they're just that team that's always going to come out and compete. And now that you have to play everyone in the schedule, that makes it a little bit easier for them because now they get to play really shitty teams, not just the Rockies all the time. But they're still going to have a lot of Rocky games, but they're going to play other shitty teams. And I just can't see them going that low, But that's all I got for that.
So we got a comment here. Francisco Alvarez.
And it's 6 less games against the Padres, too. My bad.
Yeah, you're good. We got Vic saying Francisco Alvarez for Alexis Diaz. So from what I've been hearing about the Mets.
You know what? Bet, because Tyler Stevenson's already playing some first base this year. So I'll you know what? Phil Castellini, give me a job. I want to make that trade right now.
So for that reason, you're fired the next day.
Oh yeah. Also get the hell out of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
So what I've been hearing on the Mets side, Francisco Alvarez is a fantastic hitter, power hitter, but he is struggling defensively and calling a game. Sounds like they drafted Kevin Prada, 11th overall, I think 2 years ago now. And they're saying that he may be a better overall catcher and fits the team better than Alvarez. So that wouldn't be surprising at all if Alvarez was in the trade, but I don't know if it'll be just for one player.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm saying
I love that idea, but and Alexis Diaz looks
it won't be for one
really
player.
nice, but yeah, no. Regardless of any defensive struggles that he's having, catcher prospect like that is very expensive.
They're saying that supposedly this kid is going to be better than Alvarez. So I don't know who they're going to keep. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is what I'm hearing and what I have heard other people say. And this is something to where they haven't officially put him on the roster yet. Now that can be also for the manipulation of time, like we say, back and forth, going to the AAA. But
I've also heard that his closest catcher comparison is Mike Piazza because he's money with the bat.
man,
And
I don't know.
you know what? The NHL does employ the designated hitter now. Or-
So
yeah.
we'll see.
Did I say NHL?
You
You
did say
did.
NHL.
I was like, yeah, the
Yeah.
hockey league has never done that.
Well, that's
But,
what an enforcer is, right?
But Vic, no, one player, no. But I mean, don't be surprised if he gets stuff because of what I'm hearing.
Packers.
Honestly. All right, next. Let's go to number 4. Storms, I'll settle with you. Who you got?
Blue Jays. Once again, for all the reasons we said before, and then in addition to that, I think the acquisition of Eric Swanson really completed and put a cap on the bullpen, made that a complete unit and one of the best bullpens in the major leagues. And their 1 through 4 in the rotation is phenomenal. And at this point, it almost feels like wishing for a miracle. But if Ryu can finally make it back and healthy, they're going to have a really good 1 through 5.
Who you got, Kyle?
I had the Jays as well, number 4. The Jays from top to bottom. Biggio was hitting really well towards the end of the season last year. His biggest issue is his defense. I wouldn't be surprised if they make a move and then move him just because of that. Vladdy Jr. is going to have a big year. I think he's going to he'll be in the talks for an MVP this year. I think he's finally put in the work and get the development. He'll probably be close. I don't think he wins it, but I think he'll be close. But I think they're just going to have a big year this year.
Ty at number 4 has the Dodgers. Oh, sorry. The Dodgers. Of course. Right? You're gonna say the same thing about me because I got the Mets at number 4. So the Mets for me being at number 4, for as much as we talked about them losing Diaz in the bullpen, I think they did what they had to do to assure them not taking a step back in the rotation with losing DeGrom. They signed Verlander. They got Senga. They have still Cookie Carrasco there. They have a pretty good rotation. But here's the thing with our rotation and also what Storms has been saying about Cleveland's rotation. It can be good, it can be dominant, but one injury away from it being and you start looking at who to plug into that rotation and you really don't have anyone. But if they stay healthy and they're able to stay healthy, it can be one of the best rotations in baseball. But we're the Mets, so that's a big if. We already lost a big piece before the season has even started. So take that as you want. So let's move on. To number 3. Storms, what you want to do, bro?
I got the Braves.
Is our top 3s all the same?
I think
Probably.
Yeah, I think it is. Okay. I just want to double check.
So. Okay, so we all got the Braves at number 3.
Yep.
Yeah. They have. I think the Braves probably have the best rotation depth in baseball. They also, God, their offense is already so good, but when Von Grissom makes his way back up, like that guy just smokes the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Acuna's back. I think so. I personally have Acuna beating out Trey Turner for the National League MVP this year. And I think he's going to have a 40-40 season.
Look at you throwing out little snippets of other show. I'll edit that out so nobody else hears it. But good call. Good call. What you got, Kyle?
Braves, man. They've been there, done that. That division, though, is going to be very tough all year long. It's going to be one of the harder divisions to win in, but having to play other teams throughout the year kind of helps that situation a lot. I don't think they're going to take that big of a step back with losing Swanson. Um, even though he was a pivotal player for that team. But man, it's hard to bet against a team that lost a player and really didn't move up or down uh, as far as production is going to go. And they're just going to be they're just a team that's been there, done that. I think that's what's going to carry them. They have a lot of veterans on the team. Acuna is going to have a 40-40. He'll definitely have a 30-30. I think he'll probably be closer to 30-30 than he will be 40-40. But as long as he stays healthy, that team's going to be rolling all year long.
Yeah, the Braves are number 3. They're a top 3 team in baseball. They're a top 3 team organizational wise in baseball. You see them giving out contracts before people really even, let's not say deserve them, because everybody deserves it at this level, but before they hit the market and they get them for under the value that they would have
Way
seen
under.
elsewhere. Yeah. And let's not forget, Albies is back. Albies is a great second baseman. He's healthy. He's going to be playing this year, hopefully a full year. You never want to see somebody go down. And then they still have Matt Olson. Matt Olson struggled a little bit last year, but he's going to get comfortable the second year. So don't
And
think.
he's really going to benefit from the shift band as well.
Yes. Him and that ugly Freddie Freeman leg swing. So, yeah, Braves are definitely number 3. I'm not going to give them too much kudos because they're still in my division. So, number 2, fellas.
Wait,
Well,
I just feel like throwing another hot take out. Spencer Strider is going to lead the major leagues in strikeouts.
No, the fuck you ain't. Next. we all got the Padres. Kyle, why?
Man, Padres went out and spent money this year. Money. So, one of the biggest things that, me being a Sox fan was Xander Bogaerts signing over with the Padres, right? I think Xander Bogaerts will be the answer at shortstop. I don't think Tatis will play shortstop another game in San Diego unless Xander has a day off. That being said, Xander is very good defensively, but his range is very limited. But he is going to hit over 280, and he's probably going to give you over 25 home runs. He's going to be a solid bat. He hits a lot of doubles and in the middle of that lineup. And with that type of a lineup, with how many stars they have in that lineup, I think it's going to take a little bit for them to gel. But once they gel, they're going to roll, and they're going to roll for a real long time. Pitching's still great. I know they gave Darvish a huge contract. I know it's early in the season. Darvish didn't look very good against guys that he's been pitching against his whole career. So we'll see how that plays out for the rest of the year. But if Snell can come back to relatively normal, Musgrove continues to pitch really well, I think the Padres team is going to be carried because they're pitching. And Hader needs to have a good season going into this year, because towards the end of last year, he did not look good at all. But I think that trade will work out in the end. I think Hader has a big year this year as a closer.
I 100% agree. I think Mount Crushmore is a dope-ass nickname for an even better lineup.
Yep.
I heard a concept on MLB radio earlier today, which said if you're going to have what is essentially a top-heavy lineup, you better be 4 deep. And I agree with that, because the whole idea behind that is if you're 4 deep, you can't really pitch around anybody.
Nope.
And that's after the first few weeks, that's exactly what the Padres are going to have. And it's not like the supporting cast is is an easy out. You got Kim and Cronenworth, who have each had close to 300 seasons here recently.
Yep.
Grisham, the playoff hero from last year. This is going to be a really scary lineup, and like you said, with a really good rotation. Assuming Father Time hasn't caught up with you, Darvish.
Yeah, and that lineup is scary, man. They also got Nelson Cruz as their DH hitter. Don't forget
Oh, I
him.
forgot about him.
So if he,
and Matt Carpenter.
yep.
Oh, I forgot about that.
So don't forget, they added some pieces to where that lineup is already scary, and if they get production from players that you last year, I mean, Carpenter put up a year for the Yankees. He carried them for a little bit. And if he's able to do that with the Padres, he doesn't necessarily have to carry them, but unexpected runs and unexpected home runs, that just adds to it. And then also, Cruz hasn't played a meaningful game, I think, a couple of years now. So let's see what he does at age 42. I mean, I don't think they're expecting a whole lot, but still, they don't need a whole lot with that lineup.
I'd love to see him hit like 45 home runs.
Didn't he hit a ball? Didn't he hit a yaya during the fucking World Baseball Classic? Was he in the World Baseball Classic this year?
No.
It maybe it was an old video. Maybe I don't remember. It's been a long day.
Yeah. So, so there's actually some breaking news, fellas. Jeff Passan just actually passed some news saying there's a deal in place between the minor league players in the MLBPA and Major League Baseball on the historic first collective bargaining agreement for major leaguers.
What?
Yeah. So a deal is in place between the minor league players and the MLBPA and Major League Baseball on the historic first collective bargaining agreement for minor leaguers. Union officials tell.
Okay. You said for major leaguers the first time. That's why I was confused.
Oh, I'm sorry. Deal is 5 years and includes at least 2 times pay at all levels of the minors. Wow.
Good. Hell yeah.
That's huge. So
That's good though.
Details on pay increases in the minor leagues. Complex league, it goes from 48,000 to about 20,000. Low A goes from 11 to 26,000. High A goes from 11 to 27,000. Double A goes 13.8 to 30,000. Triple A goes 17.5 to 35,000.
All right, there we go. So
it's a move in the right direction.
Yeah, and the next step in the next collective bargaining agreement after this one expires, or they can always be amended if both parties agree, is to make it so no professional baseball player makes less than someone who works at McDonald's.
Yes.
I would say per diem rates, even if they give them salaries, like per diem rates and they pay for lodging. And that by itself covers a ton.
Wait, pay for what?
Lodging and per diem weights.
Okay, that makes more sense. I thought you said laundry.
No, lodging. I mean,
I was like, getting your laundry paid for would be nice.
I thought he said lingerie. No, I'm just kidding.
No. I think lodging and per diem, if they could pay for their meals and where they live, and they give them that pay bump, that right there is a lot.
Yeah.
Because really, that would be worth more about 60 G's a year with their salary at 30.
Yeah, that's
I think that'd be fair.
huge. It's a step in the right direction. Now shout out to Trav for shooting us that link. As far as that goes, we'll go more into depth in that and well, actually, you know what? So you're right, Kyle. I'll even go a step further. How about these teams or these players? I mean, not these players, these teams, this organization. Do it kind of like I mean, doesn't the Little League baseball have like housing around the fields to where the players stay?
Yes.
So why don't
Yeah,
they
but
do it
that
that way?
just started like 2 years ago, like a year ago.
Still, if the Little League has it, why can't minor league baseball have this?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I think the only difference, I guess, the argument would be, and I'm not saying this is it. What up, Trav? He said, "What up, fellas? What up, Trav?" Would be when they're playing Little League World Series, they're playing in one area versus when you're playing in minor league, you're playing in multiple areas. So the cost may be the factor there, but I think that's more of a stretch than anything. I think, and like I said, I think if you pay for their lodging, you pay for their meals, I think that covers, and whatever their salary is, if it's 30K, that gives them, maybe closer to 60K a year after everything's said and done. That's just me.
that's yeah. I mean, like we said, it's a step in the right direction and something has to be done. This is good. Also, there's another thing that came out in this tweet. It says the domestic reserve list, which governs the maximum number of players in an organization outside of Latin America, will be reduced starting next year from 180 to 165. The league has sought a reduction in the reserve list since the major league negotiations last year. So, meaning they will not be able to have anybody outside of Latin America over 165 players in an organization, sounds like.
So what that sounds like to me is they had to cut players, cut the manning of these organizations in order to pay for. I mean, if both sides agree to it, just that makes it more competitive.
does
Oh,
it does. So we're gonna hear about this more and more as far as what has changed and what the give is. That's definitely one as far as one side giving and getting the other spot. And
I mean, are you really that surprised after they de-affiliated 40 some minor league teams a few years ago?
no,
it's all about money saving.
no, yeah, you're gonna have to. How does it say? You're gonna have to cut a corner to pinch the pennies out, whatever it is, whatever that saying is. Pinch
Yeah, I
every
don't know.
penny by cutting a corner, whatever. But that's basically what they're doing or what they did there. But at least it's a step in the right direction for minor leaguers. You know, they
Vic
get a pay
said, now
raise.
that part kind of sucks. Vic, we agree with you, dude. But I mean, at the same time, it's going to make it, to me, we make it more competitive, but they're starting to get paid what they're worth. I mean, you got to do something at the end of the day, because by having 180 something people on your organization, you can't pay everybody what they're worth over time. I mean, that's same with a business, man. Sometimes you got to cut an office to keep the business alive. Just one of them things.
So that means 15 less players per team. Correct.
Organization,
Yeah. Yeah. Basically.
not just the team, the whole organization.
Yeah, we're not down to 11-man rosters.
Yeah. What is this, Little League, dude?
All right, fellas. Let's end this.
You're
list.
all two-way players now.
So we had number 2 Padres. I'm just gonna give a little bit of takes, like we just said. Lineup, starting pitching, also relief pitchers. They have it all. They have it all to go all the way this year. Adam Bogarts is huge, and Padres are gonna win that division. I think by some games. Let's see who's number 1. Obviously, I think on everybody's list, the reigning champs, the Astros. How do you lose players and get better and all-star and Hall of Fame caliber players? I don't know, but the Astros have now done it for 3 consecutive years. Take it away, Storms, because it looked like you were about to say something.
Oh, well, just like we said before, they have one of the best and deepest rotations in baseball, just like the Braves do. which is why you can withstand losing a guy like Justin Verlander. And they did lose Yuli Gurriel, who's been one of the best first basemen in baseball, but they went out and got Jose Abreu, who's even better. And Jose Altuve did break a bone in his hand when he got hit with a fastball in the WBC. He is out, I think, 8 to 10 weeks. But you still have not just Abreu, but Bregman and Tucker. And, all these guys, like, they've got plenty of offense to make up for it. They're going to be just fine. They won 106 games last year. They're probably going to win about the same amount of games this year.
Go ahead, Kyle.
Astros, and we've talked about this a million times. We're going to talk about it a million more times, man. Their bullpen depth is insane. They win games and they win championships because their bullpen is ridiculous year in, year out. Their starting pitching is top notch. They literally lost one of the, Hall of Famer, and like you guys said, lost a Hall of Famer and they got better. How do you lose a Hall of Famer and get better? That doesn't happen for other teams, but it happens for the Houston Astros. They are going to hit. They're going to play well all year. They have a couple guys. I mean, Jordan Alvarez is going to be one of the premier hitters. He's a premier hitter in the league. He'll probably lead one of the categories of RBIs, home runs, or batting average this year, if not 2 out of those 3. I don't think he's Triple Crown. I think he's going to be somewhere in there, though. But that dude rakes. And I don't know how he does it, because some of the pitches I've seen him hit, I was like, how did you get to that ball? And he hit it a mile. But bullpen. We said it all year long last year. We'll say it all year long this year. Bullpen until they play Oakland. Then they'll lose every game against Oakland.
By the way, I don't know if you were watching, but I put Oakland as your honorable mention in the power rankings.
My honorable mention was the Guardians, but Oakland, if they're playing Houston, for whatever reason, Houston can't beat Oakland. Can't figure it out.
Speaking of Oakland, it's something I forgot to mention when we were talking about the Phillies. The Phillies today acquired Christian Pache from Oakland, so they got the left-handed outfield bat they were looking for.
Oh, really? Yeah. That's a good pickup for them.
It is, and that's. But like I said before, the NL East no longer has 300 win teams this year. They have 1.
Anyway, about the Stros. The Stros have been the constant team in the AL. They've been the team to beat for a while. On the NL has been the Dodgers, but the Dodgers have fallen off this year, and it's crazy to say that the Stros have lost players. They have lost Springer, they have lost Correa, they have now lost Verlander, and they are still favored to win the World Series.
Yep.
That goes to show you how well of an organization they have, how the organization is ran from top to bottom. Now, it's interesting to see, guys, if anything happens or if anything changes with the Astros organization, with James Click leaving after the 1-year contract that he was offered to them, and he goes to an up-and-coming team to which he can turn them into the Astros of the AL East, the Blue Jays. That's going to be very
so glad you brought that up, because I was just about to shout him out.
That's going to be very, very interesting, fellas. And I'm excited to see what he does with the Blue Jays, especially if he's able to do with them what he did with the Stros.
Do either of you know exactly what a vice president of baseball strategy does?
Be like, just stand here.
I would guess they would go to the meetings that the president of baseball strategy doesn't go to. That's my guess. That's usually what happens to me. So,
my assumption is that they just needed to find a title for their general manager and wait.
Yeah.
Trav said Houston is going as far as Dusty manages them. 100% true. 100% true.
Yeah.
Damn good thing he's a Hall of Famer.
Damn
Yeah.
good thing he has his first World Series too, because we know he can get it now.
Yeah.
So there ain't no problem
It
there.
helps
Bro.
that he had a pretty solid team already.
True, which he still
Yeah.
has.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I could inherit that team and probably do a pretty decent, at least win 60 games.
I was gonna say you're at least gonna win 50.
Yes, probably 60. I'd say 60.
Nice.
You know what? I'm not gonna say that any of the three of us has anywhere close to the level of baseball knowledge as Dusty Baker.
No.
But I mean, let's be realistic. Anybody can be over 500 with that team.
True.
True.
Even Ron Washington, when he's doing cocaine in the dugout, could do that.
Well,
Hey, y'all forgot. I didn't
even,
forget. I knew he was doing cocaine.
even what was the name of that movie? Ed the Monkey, the baseball movie that played for the Cubs, could manage that team to a 500 record.
Man.
Dusty's a good skipper though.
All right, let's the closing thoughts before we take this too far and away from what we were talking about, because Ed the Monkey had an honorable mention on our show now, and we just compared him to Dusty Baker.
Well, I got nothing except for what I said before, man. I'm just really excited for this season. I can't wait for tomorrow. I'm coming home from work as soon as possibly allowed, and I'll be watching baseball for the next 6 months.
Hell yeah. Kyle, what you got?
Corey Kluber goes 10-10 again this year for the Red Sox. And he pitches really well for the opening day, and the bullpen loses the first game of the season. Trav, hey, don't talk about my boy Ron Washington. No, I think this year is going to be a great year. I'm excited now that we watched the World Baseball Classic. I'm excited to see what Nootbaar does this year. I'm excited for him his first season. That dude became an international superstar overnight.
Yo, did you see? You saw his Instagram followers, right?
Yeah.
He went going into the WBC. He had like 69,000, and now he's over 1 million.
Yeah, that dude. That's because of Japan. Because in Japan,
100%.
he's a superhero right now.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohtani is a god. So it doesn't. I'm excited for him.
I don't know if this is true, but I saw on Twitter earlier today that most places in Japan are still sold out of pepper grinders.
That's hilarious.
That's fantastic.
I'm so glad that that's a thing.
Right?
So Storm, Travis saying, when will Votto be back so Cat 5 will stop going crazy?
June.
I believe the last thing I saw was, well, honestly, the same as the report on most guys right now, 3 to 4 weeks.
With as old as he is, it's probably June.
We'll see. All right, everybody out there.
I hope he's back soon, man, because I'm 99% sure this is his last year.
Yeah.
So I want to watch as much of him as I can before he's gone.
Yep.
All right, everybody out there. You know what this is. Opening day. The field looks beautiful. You see the opening day logo. The game started at 1:00. It opens up with the Braves and the Nationals, which the Braves should run away with that game. And then we got San Francisco and the Yankees at 1. But baseball doesn't get better than opening day. The best day of the year for baseball. You get your hopes up. Everybody can make the playoffs except the Oakland A's. So
it should be a national holiday.
Yeah, it should.
We should be off work so that we can watch baseball all day long.
We should be, and if it's not a national holiday, At least let us have the day off. I'm talking to you, boss. I'm calling out tomorrow. Um, nah, but enjoy the day, eat hot dogs, drink beer, fire the grill up. Let's watch some baseball. The other thing is, hopefully, everybody stays healthy enough to watch the superstars. And the last thing I'm going to say before we go off is free Trout.
Free Otani, free Trout.
Yep. We'll see y'all on the next show.
Oh,
Hey.
and Trav, Joey Votto still bangs. Don't you forget it.